That looks like it's aligned nicely. Dudley. How do you guys feel about Dudley? I like him. Alright, let me know if I should turn it down or up. I really like Dudley's leg jump strong or whatever the normal is. It seems really natural after I parry, just hitbox wise. What? That's a thing? I can't believe I've never seen that. So when you like hit someone with I think I went back too far. No, I didn't. That's weird as fuck. When you hit someone with an air normal, or I mean with a ground normal that's supposed to reset them, they take a few frames to start resetting and they can still be hit during that period. So if you do a sufficiently fast attack, you'll hit them before they can reset. But I never would have guessed Dudley's uppercut was fast enough. Or that it would hit in the early frames, which it did there. It hit like on its first frame, it hit super deep. That's probably like Dudley only or something. Or probably not Dudley only, but probably only works on a few characters. Caught him trying to jump in parry probably. Landed on a low roundhouse. That was double parry from White Dudley. Oh, no super. You can do it. Slugging him. I don't remember if there was a Dudley function in Yatagarasu. I feel like there was a Dudley-ish function. But I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was the Fae. I feel like the Fae was some Dudley, some Yang. I called him the Fae, but he was a Yang. He was more like a Dudley Fae, I guess. I don't remember. It's been so long. He did it again! And that actually got a lot of hits. I never would have guessed that would have gotten like all the hits. Holy shit, this is weird. I've never seen Dudley like this. And I've seen a lot of Dudley. Oh, he should have just hit a roundhouse after the parry probably. Just take the on the ground punish. I mean the midair punish. He's being aggressive with parries. That was really aggressive. Nice. I don't remember if that's a link or a late cancel. I think it's a link. I don't think towards forward cancels into super. You can parry that palm if you're looking for it. He's trying to catch Yang on the ground. It's kind of difficult. God bless Oro, who just gets stand strong and anti-air parries. How to time your tech rolls. I mash them. Even now, years later, I mash them. I tap the fuck out of down. There's no downside to hitting it repeatedly. Ducking straight for the extra range. Oh my god. EX Rekka didn't save him. This is kill, isn't it? No. Thought it was. That did 0. I thought on Yang health it would kill him, but nope. Hey, we've got a regular number of rounds for this A-cho replay. Shut us to playing the game the way the developers intended. I think it's really interesting when someone comes out to like break the rules a little bit. I've seen a lot of Alpha 3 replays where they just random select. That's good advice. Telling someone to mash is good advice. That's like max damage, I think, if you don't spin the bar. Oh, he was ready for the short swing blow cancel. That's someone who plays Dudley right there. I found the Dudley main. One hit. It wasn't even the first hit. Again! A parry on a short swing blow. Normally, Dudley uses short swing blows to save media attacks that are parried. Also, towards forward does cancel. I remembered, because Dudleys do, in juggles, Dudleys do towards forward uppercut, I think. You don't see that cancel very often. In fact, that context which I just gave is probably one of the main contexts in which you see it. Towards forward is a super obnoxious normal on block, I'll tell you that. Because it advances. It's very similar to how it is in SF4, I guess. Except in SF4 you can kind of like confirm bigger stuff off of it without meter. That's like the big difference between SF4 and SF3. In SF4, if you get 2 jabs, like that could be like a close forward. Or like a fucking low fierce or something like that. In this game, 2 jabs is a super. What's the birdie tech I have to learn ASAP? Phew. I don't know. Empty canceling stand strong into bullhead would be helpful. EX bullhead activate into combo. Like EX bullhead activate crutch fierce release zonk. It's pretty good. Very useful combo. Zonk activate's quite good. That's only like -2. It looks like it would be unsafe, so a lot of people try and punish it. Especially at the low level. Well, I should say only at the low level, but you know. Ow. He went for big stuff. That, ironically, that time he didn't go for big stuff, and he could have. The TC. Yang doesn't use the TC very much, but most people don't anti-air parry Yang twice. Looks like it's going to hit him. Yang has cross-up unblockables on Dudley. But he hasn't gotten a setup. So this is like a super you might pick against Dudley. Oh. I was tickled to see that Yang could do Rekka super in Street Fighter 4 when that was a thing, because it's never been a thing for Yang in this game, and he would really appreciate it. If Yang could do like Rekka SA2 and have it combo, he'd probably do that here and there. Not a lot sometimes though. SA2 doesn't have a whole lot of confirms, and the ones that exist, you'd probably rather just save the meter for EX Rekka. Aw, sad. That was he air parried universal overhead. I think I've done that before. Make him land on a low. Probably should have EX Rekka, but the downside of this super is you don't get to play with EX Rekka that way. You got something. If that Stand Strong was cancelled, or was it Far Strong? I missed it. I think it was Far Strong. Yang can cancel Far Strong in SF4. I don't think he can in this game. I never see it anyway. He might have it into like super. Ooh. Oh, he's dizzy. Yeah. To this day, I don't know what Yang's strongest combo is. It's just like B and B punish. Sometimes Yangs do Stand Strong into 3 Rekkas, sometimes they do Stand Fierce into 3 Rekkas, and then sometimes they do Stand Fierce into like the up kick. He got the TC. He probably wanted Close Strong, but then he got Far Strong because he didn't advance enough and he OS the TC or something. Be my guess. You can always OS the TC there. Especially if you go into first heavy Rekka, which I don't know if Yangs do. I don't know how Rekkas work in this game. In SF4, every Rekka version is picked. Oh wow, it is SA1 Yang. I didn't even notice that. SA1 is a fat meme. So I guess I've explained it before. But for those who don't know, SA1 Yang is kind of slow. Or SA1 on Yang is kind of slow. And it's only a single parry, so you can parry it post-freeze. But you better parry it post-freeze, because it's actually plus on block. I think it is invincible, yeah. You never see it like that, because you never see it in general. Oh, now we got SA2. The 1 bar plus long meter is catastrophic for Yang, but he can confirm it. He doesn't have a whole lot of ways to confirm it. I think he can just do like low short, super 1, and that works. You can do command grab SA1. It's not super strong. You lose damage the further out you are. And even after a command grab, I think you lose some hits. Or maybe it just scales really hard or something. I don't know. I don't know the rules. I just know when you look at its damage raw, it's a lot higher than when you look at after a command grab. think that's, yeah, gonna work. As a general rule of thumb, when you see Dudley's super start up, you can kind of pretend it's already hitting because it's that fast. So like don't account for the opponent falling at all. But the hitbox is pretty tall. It's like it's like taller than Dudley's head when he's doing it. I hit Dudley midair. When Dudley does the machine gun blow startup, he's briefly airborne for it, which is kind of wacky. Might catch you off guard if you're not used to the matchup. If you like parry something and he cancels the machine gun blow and you hit a button, you'll hit him midair. The TC! There's a couple other moves the same way. I think Yun's the Shohoho does that. I think. Cool. I hope he makes something of this. It's not enough. Very, very nice meaty overhead.
You win for the count. Let's fight like gentlemen. Are you ready? Go.
That looked all amazing, and it was pretty amazing. I think I would fuck that up more often than I would get it, even though I knew it was coming. But the Pink Dudley had nothing he could do to mix it up. After the short swing blow was parried, Dudley had an OS to like always get that parry there. Because there was no way that Pink Dudley could vary the timing. So White Dudley could just OS, parry, and then punish. And either Pink Dudley did the super, and White Dudley parried it, and it's a 100% consistent timing. Or Pink Dudley didn't do the super, and White Dudley just got roundhouse to punish anyway. So the only real mix-up there was the predicting the short swing blow. Well, I mean the normal into the short swing blow, which was still quite a good read. It was still a great play. I'm just saying it was, ooh, nice. There was only one way it could have gone after a certain point. So it's good for the White Dudley to be ready for it, but also, you know, not ridiculous. Raw fucking roll. And it gave him some unblockables. Oh, it's over. Dudley wouldn't have been unblockable if he quickstood the roll, but he missed it because Yang activated super right before. And Dudley's tap on the ground was probably during the freeze. And then when the freeze ended, he had to manually time it, and it's hard. Basically, by the Yang's, where the Yang did the super activation, cut down Dudley's tech timing a lot.
Alright, that's cool. Fighters ready. Engage.
Yang is not crazy difficult, so I'm surprised he's not more popular. In fact, I would call him one of the easier characters in the game if you're just trying to play SC2 Yang and do Rekkas. Twins debuted in New Generation. They changed quite a lot between New Generation and Third Strike.
Prepare to strike. Now.
He had a bunch of good reads in a row. If he parried that jab, and you could have parried a jab in either direction. But I bet a nickel that jab was going to be cancelled to like an EX Rekka or something. That being said, if Dudley parried it, he still had a guaranteed punish. In New Generation, they're literally the same character, I think. Like, I think they share a slot on the character select. And if you pick with punches, you get, I think, Yang, and kicks to get Yan. Something like that. It might be the inverse. And they're like literally the same. And then they got some special moves apart in Second Impact. Yang didn't get his Rekkas until Third Strike, and that's like a signature move. I think their supers diverged in Second Impact, and we got what are basically their final supers then, I think.
Are you ready? Go!
That phenomenon is called a head swap. Mortal Kombat did it too, but even more shamelessly, by just changing the color palette. Although I guess in Mortal Kombat 1, technically speaking, they had entirely different mocap for Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I think they had different idle animations and stuff. And obviously they had different special moves. But I think they had the same, ooh, no punish though. He probably had to like raw super punish with heavy super or something. I think they had like the same punches and stuff. Normals, in as much as Mortal Kombat has normals. Basic attacks, as they're known, I think. Cool. That was just delay jump as like a, well, I don't know. It wasn't to bait DP specifically, but it was OS to beat DP. Anti-jump Sword Swing Blow. That just makes me nervous even watching. I'd hate to fight this Dudley. Yatagaras, Ko, and Crow. Skullgirls, Philia, and Fukua. I guess those weren't simultaneous. I was about to ask when's the last time they added a Shoto to Street Fighter, and then I guess it's Kage. The last time we got a new Shoto would perhaps be Goken, if you consider him a Shoto. I consider Shoto to be a lore word, but if you're talking about it like a gameplay word, then Goken is absolutely not. It's just the same people in different forms. It's always Ryu Kanekuma. Ah yes, poison. My favorite part when people say it's a gameplay word is how ridiculously vague it gets. I get it, you got a fireball and an uppercut, okay? That's already kind of weird because then there's Guile, and his fireball is pretty much the same. I mean, it's pretty unique in the way the recovery and the startup usually work. But then the uppercut's like basically completely different gameplay function. Well, the charge is like the main gameplay difference. But then it's always some bullshit with the Tatsu. It's like, oh, it's a forward advancing kick special. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, Tiger Knee is the same move as Tatsumaki because they're both forward advancing kick specials. What about the demon flip? Sagat doesn't have that. And you'd be like, oh, well, the Shotos don't always have the demon flip. You know what else the Shotos don't have? A Tiger Knee.
Prepare to strike now.
I don't think Sakura's V-Skill 1 is that good. I like it a lot. I think it's okay. I think it's better than people think it is. I think it's good in like even with V-Trigger 1. But
Are you ready? Go.
I like that it's a demon flip. I'm tickled by the fact that Sakura developed her own demon flip.
You win. All right, that's cool.
Everyone's favorite matchup. Hugo's worst matchup, according to Hugo players. I think Hugo players actually see Chun-Li, but then they say this, I think. No, I didn't say anything about King, if that's what you're saying. It is kind of the same move, I guess. Her like position is completely different, but she does spin and kick.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
That meat squasher. Only 2 hits? Not even 2 hits. He could have held the button and got more, I think. Oh my god! I'd be pissed if I was that Hugo, but also neither of those grabs were that good, I think. I think he probably could have eyeballed that they weren't going to work. Or rather, that they weren't going to be guaranteed, because they could have still worked. Like, Dudley actually took a risk by jumping both times.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
What about Ryo's little spinning kick? Does that count instead of Tatsu? It's very similar to Sean's and Dane's. Obviously Dane's because Dan ripped it off.
Go for it.
What about the versions of Ryo that have actual fireballs? In my book, Ryo's a Shoto. Then how about Robert? He might be.
You win. Prepare to strike now.
I always kind of knew this, but someone commented on my recent video, and it kind of blew my mind. Was that in addition to being, or maybe someone came in here and said it. In addition to being Ryo's body and Robert's face, Dan is Yuri's personality. And I was like, oh shit. I mean, I knew, but still, hearing it out loud made me realize.
Engage.
I only subconsciously knew. He's got Yuri's goofy optimism. It's pretty obvious if you play the versus games. Like, literally they have, like, Dan and Yuri have, like, an intro together where they, like, both do the yo-use taunt at the same time. Well, in sequence, actually. What was Yang doing? It didn't even look like a parry. Looked like nothing. SA1 Dudley, by the way. Also, I'm done eating. SA1 Dudley is not bad. I labbed it. The damage over SA3 is alarming. I always thought they did about the same damage, and in some combos they do. But in shorter combos, the damage difference is actually pretty significant. Dudley SA1 versus SA3 is probably one of the hardest super picks in the game for which one's better. Mostly because they're just so similar. It doesn't matter. Oh my god. That low short he got, he could have just won there. Played with his food too much. Meat squasher. Fucking wake up ducking super any second now. Okay, wake up universal overhead. That's really good when the opponent's almost dead. Because not only does it do... It has like a pretty good hitbox, and if you get hit out of it, you're hit midair. And also, it goes over lows and shit. And it's pretty quick. The only thing that's bad about it is its damage and its lack of returns. But if you kill someone with it, then the damage and the lack of returns don't matter. Nice. He actually OS double parried there, but for whatever reason he chose not to commit to the full parry. Whenever you parry a short swing blow, you always want to parry twice just in case Dudley super cancels. Universal overhead, instant overhead. They're different terms. Instant overhead is usually used for jumping attacks that are used on the way up. Universal overhead is an attack specific to the Street Fighter 3 series. Yeah, universal overhead is the medium punch, medium kick thing. Every character has it, not every character uses it. Theoretically, it's the same between all characters, but it's not actually. Some of them recover a little bit faster than others. They all have similar startup and damage. They also have different range, I think, but it's not a significant difference. But some characters go from like 0 to -7 depending on how deep it hits. And other characters go from like +4 to -3 or like shit like that. Most of them are unsafe if they hit point blank and are blocked. But some of them are unsafe if they hit. And other ones, I don't know if they're all unsafe if they hit, if they're like unspaced. They pretty much fill the same role. Universal overhead has a little bit of, it's actually like kind of technical. Yeah, I can't think of a single universal overhead that's actually changes like properties in any way. The one thing they do is shared between all of them, which is if you hit them deep, they're extra frame advantage because they all have really long active periods, like a Kemi Spiral Arrow. So if you get a really, really deep hit, if you get the last frames, you get some frame advantage. There's 12. 12 does not even have a grounded overhead at all. I think he's the only character like that. The mechanic is rather intelligent because if you do a meaty one or a spaced one, it takes longer to hit, which also makes it more reactable. It's quite hard to react to a universal overhead that's hitting on its first frame. It is pretty fast. But if you're doing a universal overhead that hits on its like last active frame before it lands, that's very reactable. It'll be like fucking 25 frame startup or some shit. which makes it very easy to see. Or not very easy, but like, you know, you can see it. The more frame advantage it would be, the easier it is to react to. Oh, what a read. He was trying to bait a super, I think. That's Hugo's one invincible reversal. And it was simultaneously going to try and bait a parry of some variety. It's probably jump back button. Sayambu is super good against Hugo. This is like the one matchup where you really... Oh, that's a shit ton. This does over half to Yang. Love the fucking meat squasher. How much Hugo just slides when it ends. Demon Cradle, you missed it. Edelgard is an Edel corpse. I'm feeling pretty good about how it all went down. I had no casualties. Which is a far cry from my first attempt where I had 5. The big difference was, I think, Byleth having... I didn't have this +6 attack skill on player phase. Nope. That could have been a heavy clap. Heavy clap is not even... Well, it's still good. But it's better if you're SA3 Hugo. Oh, that was a standing 720. You guys see that shit? No buffers necessary. Hugo probably has the easiest standing 720 of any character in the franchise. It's still not easy. I've done it though. The thing about this game is that you not only does Hugo have a shit ton of pre-jump frames, but also if you do a super jump, you have even more pre-jump frames. And all pre-jump frames can cancel into like super. And also the mere process of doing a 720, you'll probably get a super jump, so you don't have to do anything fancy with the input. You just spin. Not trying to undermine all the Hugo players who can do standing 720s, but it's like it's a feasible thing for most people in this game, I think. There's not just like a class of elites who can do them and then no one else can, like the other Capcom games. Getting it in a match is a fucking entirely different thing. Beautiful. You could do that in SF5. I've thought about that in SF5. I feel like most people would wake up with a button if you taunted on their wake up. So have you had any sort of knockdown setup where you taunted and then like recovered from the taunt on the frame they woke up? Or like a couple frames before they woke up? Because most taunts end deceptively early. But you would probably need a crush counter. Sweet. Or like something with just a lot of Ogi. Because you still need like a full second. The one that was, yeah, Hakan. The one that was really famous in SF5 was the G taunt. Because the thing about G's taunt is that the taunt is for him to put his hand out and he says shake hands with the president. But he takes a big step forward when he puts his hand out and it actually moves him. It changes his position. And after like a second of the taunt, he's fully recovered. He can cancel the taunt on any frame. So you can like do the shake hands with the president and then command grab, and it's like a huge Kara. It's not a fast Kara, it's just a huge Kara. Combined with his already pretty good throw range. And he has like a third screen or half screen command grab. It's not half screen. Nico's fun. Always been a fan. Dudley's looking pretty scary throwing up this wall of normals. That was nice. Low short super. Oh, it's gonna work. Got 4 hits. No. Every character has exactly one taunt. Most people don't even know how to do them because they changed the taunt input. It's all 6 buttons together. I think most people probably don't know they're in the game, to be honest. People don't really taunt anymore, like ever. People never discuss taunts either. Just the entire taunt culture of SF4 is just dead. Like, I'm being dead serious. I think most people don't know taunts are in SF5. It wouldn't be too weird because they removed the input for taunt that was previously used. And also, there have been other Capcom games where taunting wasn't a thing. Like, I think there were no taunts in Cross Tekken, for example. What's the thing about taunting in Guilty Gear? Doesn't it like raise the opponent's tension or something? It like has an actively detrimental side effect. Gives the opponent meter. Or am I making that up? I've never seen it, I've just had people tell me about it. I know that Guilty Gear has respects, which are like reverse taunts, and I think that's badass. EXTP. If you do it after a round win, they get meter. Okay. If anything, that's even better because that's like an actual pop-off. It's like the Mercies in Mortal Kombat. I've seen people Mercy in fucking tournament matches and it's beautiful every time. That's one of my favorite pop-off mechanics in all fighting games. It's like, here bro, try again. Keep trying, you can do it. That's such a fucking Chad play. To have already won, and then give the opponent some HP back, so they can keep trying. The only Killer Instinct game I played was the old arcade one, and I could not figure out for the life of me how to do a fucking combo at all. I couldn't figure out the combo rules. It's like you could just cancel to the same special move multiple times in a combo. Today I played my friend in SF5, and he dizzied me one round. And he dropped the combo to kill me. He did Ryu like jump roundhouse into Stand Fierce when he wanted Crouch Fierce. And then he wasn't in trigger, so there was no ender from the Stand Fierce except roundhouse, which he didn't hit. And I was dead to the full kill combo, but I ended up winning the round. And thinking back, that's probably a scenario where I would taunt. I didn't today, but I don't think about taunts. Casuals with a friend, they make some critical fuck up. Both of you are just like, I should be dead. Or like, you know, both of you saying that I/you should be dead. Stand Fierce into Palm. After watching how these Dudleys play, I'd be really nervous to do something like that. That's probably a link. It'll be 6 hits if it was. Is it a thing to like, what's it called? I don't know the fucking name of the tension mode where you like turn into super mode or whatever. But is it possible, like mid combo, can you do that? Can you like start a combo outside of that mode and then activate it and then get the instant kill? Like all in the same combo? Are there ways to do that? That's not too hard to parry. You have to parry pre-freeze or else it's a one-frame parry. But it's pretty easy to react to the ducking. Or not to the react to the ducking, but to react to the air reset and just OS the parry. There's no other thing you can be doing there. I once watched a BlazBlue. It was one of these. It was like some arcade just playing BlazBlue. And there was a Rachel who, like, in like 10 matches, she got like fucking 8 of the Astral Finish. Kept on being in the scenario to land it and getting the combos perfectly. Some Astral Finishes seem really easy to land and some seem really hard to land. I've seen Bang Shishigami, his is like unlandable, from what I can tell. A lot of them can land from a throw. Nice. He jumped, probably OS parrying a DP. I'm waiting for a parry or something, but also dodging a super. Guilty Gear always looked to me like it's got a lot of relic mechanics, but it's got a lot of postmodern mechanics too, even the older ones. Ooh. Rarest matchup in Third Strike is probably fucking... I was gonna say 2 Shans, but it's not. It's probably fucking 12 Shan. Shan is the rarest character. But 2 Shans, if one person's playing Shan, the chances skyrocket that the other guy is. Hugo's not so rare. I've seen 12 versus Hugo a good amount. Shan is probably the second rarest character after... I mean, 12 is probably the second rarest character after Shan, though. Oh. Lane and Necro. That would be like, what if you were like discounting Shan and 12. That would be one of them. Nice. That was probably a punish on the dungeon. He probably could have got a better punish on the dungeon. This is the secret Ryu color. Nice. If that didn't kill, he would be stunned, and then he would die again. Elena is one of the rarest characters in this game, yeah. Elena has never seen much play, despite the fact that she's like a mid-tier. I've seen 12 versus Q a lot. It's 3 taunts. Q basically gets his taunts off for free in that match. So it's definitely not as free as you would think. Obviously the neutral is heavily in favor of 12, like way in favor. He got like a last frame connect on that close fierce. I wouldn't even say it's like pretty even, honestly. Oh, anti-air heavy DP. That beats anything except jump and parry. But man, it loses to jump and parry. Oh, I wanted to see more Ryu. He got smacked. It's a fucking 11-second KO. I think I actually have seen a 12 mirror with X copy because the East versus West has a 12 who often plays in the early rounds who uses X copy. And I think we've seen him versus 12. I think one of them was using X copy one time. You get the bonus damage from X copy, so you're playing the same character with higher damage. Parrying the roast doesn't do anything. In fact, it does something kind of bad. You're still like when you parry something, you freeze and the thing you parry freezes, and normally the thing you parry is the opponent. So normally it's you and the opponent freeze. But when you parry a projectile, you and the projectile freeze, and the rose is a projectile. So Dudley can still move while you're parrying the rose, and he can still act while you're parrying the rose. If you're blocking the rose, it does no damage. And then Dudley can, like, you know, mix you up high and low. And if you're parrying the rose, he can still mix you up high and low, but also he can throw you. You can't get thrown out of block stun, but you can get thrown out of parry. So it's arguably worse to parry the Rose, but if you want to go for a parry, you have to parry the Rose. Or else you have to go for a red parry, which is really hard. Oh, parries Rose down. I didn't even see that. I don't know. I think most people probably don't know you can. In fact, I've never like thought to do it. I don't know for sure that you can do it, but it makes sense. If you parry the Rose, it freezes. The Rose also has a hitbox even after you parry it. You can hit the Rose with like a normal or something, or a projectile when it's coming in. You probably won't because it's got a weird arc, but you can. That'll prevent it from hitting you. You can anti-air the Rose if you will. And even after you parry it, you can hit it. It doesn't do anything. You can do some meme stuff with it because you can like parry the Rose, then hit the Rose with the normal, and then cancel the normal. You can't cancel a whiff normal, but you can cancel a normal that connects with something, including the Rose. So it looks really goofy, but it doesn't. It has no like practical use. It's funny though. That looks good. Oh, he could have gotten away with charging it a bit. He wanted the damage rather than the dizzy there. Maybe he was timid about a fucking ducking super or something. But he could have held it. Like Dudley still was like locked down by the initial fireball he threw. A fucking dash. You could do that. More easy would probably be parrying it and then doing like stay roundhouse. Dudley is one of the harder characters for his juggles. I would call him like top 5 hardest characters in this game. Actually, just in general, I would call him top 5 hardest characters in this game. But he's not... The only characters that are really outliers in the difficulty are Urien and Yun are really fucking hard. Most characters in this game are all like about... And they're not too far apart difficulty-wise. Dudley does have some juggles that are pretty precise though. Like you'll probably be working a while before you can reliably get the light machine gun blow loops. Urien's base play is already pretty hard. I would call him one of the hardest characters to play at like a basic level. But then like the ceiling for Urien is through the fucking roof. Or it was pretty easy. No punish. Yeah, Makoto's generally pretty easy without Hayate cancels or like some SA2 stuff. Makoto's fairly straightforward. I would say he's harder than Makoto. I don't know if like his stuff. I think his juggles are like easier than Karafuki Age. There are setups that Urien theoretically has that just like people like no one can do them. Cool. SA1 Ryu all of a sudden. Nice. This is def. I get Kara Fukiage like 1 out of 2, but to get the 1 frame you have to do it, I get like 1 out of 5 if even. And I think on some matchups Makoto has to double Kara Fukiage. Ryu got washed. It's Ryu's second time up and the second time getting perfected. Preferring Ken over Ryu doesn't really make you a contrarian. There are more Ken lovers than Ryu lovers in the US. Nice. I think there are more people who like Yang than Yun as well. Now I think about it. Can you get the combo? Yep, he got it. It's precise. And then he dropped it immediately. Got the hard part. The whole Gene combo is the hard part. Oh, that was a dash punch, isn't it? If Yun blocks a sweep, I'm sure he can do like light dash punch. Ooh, that was like the worst of all things to do. But he still got it cancelled, I think. Look at all that meteor he got back. Nice. That's like the one of the highest damage starters. Mix-up is very like non-existent though. I did it, yep. Nice combo. Cool bait. Could have been better than low short. Oh, but this is big. No, it shouldn't have been EX. It should absolutely not have been EX. It should have been just like fucking button into Donkey Kick or button into Tatsu or something. And then a Denjin setup. Well, he already spent the EX, so the EX Fireball wasn't really so dumb. He really should have gone for the super. That's like what Gene's for. You don't have to be precious with your Gene. Also, that first hit of that EXDP was blocked. I don't know. He had too much health. Crosscut DP's not that much stronger than Close Fierce, which is what he got. Big damage. Lots of stun. I like just raw activate instead of like button into activate. Button into activate. Oh, this is big. This should kill pretty easily. Yeah. Well, Yun wasn't actually that popular. He was broken. I think people a little bit overstate how much people switch characters when there's a broken character. Actually, there might have been a lot of Yun players. Because a lot of people followed Daigo as well. Daigo going to Yun was kind of a big deal. I don't remember that many Yuns. I remember a couple American Yangs. There were like 3 American pros who like went Yang at the same time. I think one was Justin. One might have been like fucking Latif or something. It wasn't Latif. There was like some Viper player though who went Yang, I think. It's Wolf Crone. It wasn't. I have no idea who it was. I might be making that up. Or like I don't remember who it was. Flo played Yang. Remember Flo? I think he played Yang even after Yang got nerfed. Shout out to Yang's 4-frame Ultra. Almost everyone dropped Yang like a stone after AE, and it's not like he was very popular even in AE. He was like the other one. It's like, why wouldn't you play Yun or Faye if you're going to be a T-Hero? The only person I remember playing Yang all the way to the end was Shine? And then also Mago. I can play top tiers or not. My like tier doesn't have a huge factor in character selection for me. Well, it does, but in a way that you wouldn't expect. I think a character being high tier and a character being fun are inherently a little tied. A lot of characters that are low tier because they're just very, like, they don't have depth. There are some very deep low tier characters though. 12 is a pretty deep low tier. So is Hugo. Remy and ooh, Sean are relatively shallow low tiers. Yeah, more options is fun. That's always been my opinion. And more options is also just signature top tier. I like to pick a main based on a character I think is underrepresented for their tier. I'm not always right. I played Evil Ryu back before he was popular, but in my opinion, while he was already good. Same with Elena. Oro is also that. How long until people figure out... saturation looks nice in this one, or is it just me? How long until people figure out Sakura is top tier? I think people already know that Sakura is like pretty good. Sakura is kind of without like serious counter picks, or like she has like a couple, like one or two. It's more like she's generally very solid against a lot of highly played characters. But that's like, you know, it's SF5. That's true for most like air quotes low tiers. A lot of supposedly mediocre characters are fine against most of the cast. I think Laura was legitimately... I mean, I think she was... Laura was, like, considered to be bottom, like, 3, I think, in vanilla. Maybe not bottom 3. I think she went up as time went on. But she also got buffed a lot in, like, Season 2. And that's basically when people, like, kind of got on her. She definitely took a fat step up. The reasons I thought she was good did eventually get figured out. I remember talking a lot back in the ancient days about her post Dizzy was like way better than all other characters. Which like it sounds like, you know, well you got a Dizzy so you already won, right? So like who cares about having good post Dizzy stuff? But honestly, like Laura does get a lot of kills that other characters wouldn't get when she gets a stun. Now people know the setups. I only knew like a few from like Twitter, but now people know like hyper optimized stuff. That will be a real SF5 combo. Also, the uppercut won't have Oki. Remember Noah the Prodigy? He was like a fucking guy. He was a kid. I shouldn't even call him a guy. He was like a fucking 8-year-old who played Street Fighter 4. And he was quite good. He was especially good when you remember the fact that he was 8. He showed up to like a couple tournaments like one year. Like in like all within like a couple months or something like that. And people like loved him. And like his mom drove him out to tournaments and shit. The reason I bring up Noah the Prodigy is he played Bison, and someone asked him why he played Bison, and Noah replied, "I like his purple hands." And that always struck with me as the most 8-year-old reason to play a character. But also I understand. There's nothing illegitimate about that reason to pick a character. They're good hands, yeah. 801 Strider. It was a Skullzer, I think, was his name. That's one of my all-time favorite fighting game replays. There were 4 rounds, and there were 3 perfects. God, that was a great kickoff. I watched it with my friends, and literally all of my friends were like, destroy him. Every single one of my friends just collectively agreed the nanosecond the 2 players were there. It was like, if that was me, I would make that kid like... I would make that kid regret ever coming. And then the fucking match started. NATO 1 Strider got 3 perfects. It's hilarious. It was just a really funny chance to be a heel. You know what I mean? Like, no one really cares. You're there to win. Everyone knows you're there to win. But, like, I would boo if I was in the crowd. But I wouldn't actually think anything bad. I would just, like, pretend boo. It was funny. And if I was up there on stage, you know, I would beat him up and I would roll in the boos. I'd be like, yeah, I'm the best. It was like if there was a fighting game movie, an FGC movie, and there was like some guy fucking training for the big tournament. That's like how they would introduce the villain. You played Noah? Who do you play? Was it Bison? Mika. What the fuck was that? What did Ken just try to do? Medium DP, very deep. That fucking throw. That almost looked like a car, but Ken's car is super bullshit to do. His car is off a crouching normal. He also has a really bad car off of, I think, neutral medium kick. Or maybe it's back medium kick. Nice. Wish I had showed her low forward. Or his low forward's good too. It's good at different stuff. It's like faster, I think. Less range. Nice. The low forward was to, well, it was picked for its speed, but also to like ensure that Dudley actually landed on it. If we did low strong and uppercut, the low strong could maybe connect like before Dudley landed. The uppercut would whiff. Back medium kick and stand medium kick, and also stand hard kick. Nice, big damage. Saving the meter. Dudley wants to end with uppercut if he can help it, if he's not going into EX. But uppercut's not always available. Oh, stand strong traded. Nice, good confirm. Ken's cross up like kind of pulls you towards. Preferred Oro color. The one I always used to use back in the day was Hard Punch, which is orange. Because I never saw other Oro players use that. Oro has a lot of extremely ugly colors. Cross Tekken Revival is literally happening right now. I don't remember if Mega Man Floating is still in it. But like, go to Psycho Blues channel or also Team Spooky and they're uploading like, or NYC Furby, and they're uploading like Cross Tekken stuff. Gray with Blue is Roundhouse, and it's probably one of the most popular ones, or the secret color, which is the one I pick nowadays. Which is the Lakers Oro. A lot of people mistake it for the default color, because it's gold, and you know, the default color is gold. They're not quite the same color. Medium Punch is, I think, white and like a horrible tan. He's like almost a human color. Or maybe he just is a human color. He's like a bit too beige. Like dark. Dark beige. I don't remember light kick and medium kick because I never use either of them. I think the green and red one is medium kick, and the blue one is light kick. The blue one is hideous. Blue Oro is really bad. I think we've now gone over all of Oro's colors. Light punch is default. I used to have a thing. I theoretically still have it, but I don't think I did it last year. Where on Christmas Day, after I opened all the presents with my family and whatnot, I would stream, and I would stream Third Strike, and I would play the Oro that was red and green. Oro doesn't wear that much, so like, you know. A lot of characters who wear almost nothing, they just fuck around with the skin color instead. Damn. I had to read that paragraph twice to interpret what happened. He neutral jumped and you hit him with the knee. What about tier 3 meta when you wake up with EX command grab predicting them to stay on the ground blocking? Oh. Beefy. Black bars are gone, last I heard. I already had the ROM that removed the black bars. But I think no one can get them now. That... Ooh. He was too slow. Why didn't he do low forward super? Or maybe he meant to. And that's why he was late. That's a very good red parry. I'm like becoming desensitized to them even though they're hard as shit to do. They're not that hard. The first red parry is 2 frames, I think. And then the second one is... The second parry is free. And then holding up is free. So the only thing about it that's really hard is the risk. Because if you miss the parry, you eat Ken super. And then you look like an idiot. But reacting to the scenario of blocking Ken's super is fairly easy. And everything except the initial parry is fairly easy. Double DP versus Dudley is... As long as he gets the Kara, crush medium kick into double DP works, I think. That was late connect, so I think he had no cancel on that Serenos. A punish guide for third strike. Not to my knowledge. Unfortunately, a lot of punishes are non-standard. Also, that was pretty funny. Like some characters do their regular punish. Like if I block Dudley's super, I usually get like, if it's a light super, I get like a poke as my punish. I get like low forward or something. But like Shotos get low forward super. You really want to punish Dudley's cross counter with something that doesn't activate cross counter, just in case, because they all have very different durations, and the recovery period is actually not very long at all. So you've got to like react to the recovery period starting, and also it'll be in 3 radically different spots. Oh, I thought that was a cancel into machine gun blow, but it was the second hit of the TC. That would've fucked me up. In Street Fighter 4 and 5, if something's supposed to be unsafe, it's usually pretty unsafe. Especially in SF5. It's like, this is the punish scenario. Here's your fucking -4 or your -7. Do your thing. Do your 4-frame thing or your 7-frame thing. Street Fighter 3 is very much not like that. There are a lot of scenarios where some characters get no punish, some characters get a big punish, and some characters get a small one. Things that are safe against some characters and unsafe against others. You should jump with parries in it. And that time it was actually not punished, but mixed, you know. I remember that. He went flying backwards. It was quite hard to chase him. "12 often gets a punish. It's just almost always shitty. But in terms of like ability to punish, 12 is one of the better characters. But sometimes it'll be like a jab. Do you know how underwhelming it is to get fucking one stand jab as a punish? Do you know how underwhelming it is to get low short into one hit of light axe? Yeah, crouch light kick. These are real 12 punishes. Max damage punish is either heavy or EX axe, I think, with no like cancel into it or anything like that. If axe was a better move, then 12 would maybe be an okay character. But axe is like the worst move imaginable, and yet it's all he has. He has no other fucking special he can combo to. It just fucks 12 up so badly because you can play with crazy risk reward against him. You don't have to be afraid of getting punished against 12. And that goes for like parries too. You don't have to be afraid of getting parried. And you also don't have to be afraid when fishing for parries. So ironically, parries actually make 12 a significantly worse character, despite the fact that they're a universal mechanic. This is offline arcade footage, yes. This is from the A-cho arcade in Japan. You can do back strong or close strong. I think it's close strong light axe. And then go into SA1 from there, and that's 12's the only combo that does halfway decent damage. I understand. They made a really oddball with 12. I think if I was just looking at 12 in a vacuum, I wouldn't know if he would end up being a good character. Because his neutral really is really good. So, like, having a character with shit damage in the game's best neutral is like, you know. Is that good? Maybe. There are characters who have had the worst damage and best neutral in the game who have been top tier characters in other fighting games. What's an example of that? Dalsim in Alpha 3. Ooh, there he is. Sell some parries. Cool. All those hits. That might have still been a punish. Did no damage though. Interesting matchup we got. Nice. I always thought it was whether he mashed it. And you can mash some versions, but I think the light one can... Oh, that's gonna kill? No. Thought it was. Probably parrying on the way up too. Shame. This Dudley's good, don't get me wrong. Hugo is kind of bad. Hugo is rewarded a lot by how good you are. And I mean that in a few ways. One, Hugo is more rewarded by parries than most characters between clap and 360, and his damage in general. 720 as well. So if you're really good at getting parries, Hugo becomes a better character. But also, you being really good at getting parries is mostly dependent on how much better you are than your opponent. And also, Hugo has some really hard counter picks at top level play, namely Chun-Li, and also Dudley. You don't need to parry to play Hugo. Hugo's neutral is really weird. Most characters have to do some really oddball stuff to fight him, because his reach is like super duper good, and there's the threat of the 360. There's no character to shit on Yang. Yang's good. Yang's a good character. Play Ken. If you're trying to just counter pick, then fucking just play Ken. Ken's easy to play and he's a counter pick. Ken's not that easy. No one in third strike is that easy. People, tier lists often, Q and Hugo, tier lists often put them, some tier lists put them just above bottom tier, some tier lists put them like on close to the high tiers. People are really split on those two characters. And it's because they're both like very rewarded by parries, but also very shitty. So it's really hard to evaluate their position. It seems like they're really bad on paper, but then there are certain players who have taken them really far, whereas other supposedly shitty characters just can't get a break. Dudley SA3 has like 2 frames of invincibility. It's got like just enough invincibility to hit. I've had Dudley do wake up super as I did low medium kick, and because the super didn't hit me in its like first 2 frames, I just hit him out of his super and it looked hella weird. But if you're close enough that the super's hitting on its first frame, you'll hit them out of whatever they're doing. No, it was nothing about me. I was far away. It wasn't my hitbox or anything. But yeah, it was my toe of justice, and it did hit him out of it. And it looked hella stupid. I was at the tippy tip range of low forward. It was just a meaty low forward. I've seen that. I've seen that exact scenario happen. In fact, I've seen a Hugo parry both hits of Akuma towards strong, and then 720 and the 720 whiff. It's sad, but it's funny. I legit do not know the properties of Sean's roll. I don't know if he becomes unthrowable. I don't know if he becomes unhittable. I don't know if he goes through fireballs. I don't know a damn thing about it. I've gotten as good as I have at third strike without knowing anything about Sean. Every time I fight a Sean, they suck. I fought a halfway decent Sean recently, and he sucked. I've seen people whiff throws as Sean like pass through their body, so there's like something to it. But it's not like, I don't think it's by merit of being invincible. There's something to it being the shock value, basically. There's ways that it can theoretically be good, but they're all specific. That's like Sean in general, though. Like, the thing is, I think Sean just moves through them right as they throw, so they throw the wrong way. The setup, I've never seen that setup. The setup I always see from Sean's is fucking full screen basketball, and then right as the basketball's about to hit, they super. It's such a dumb setup. It's like unbelievably stupid. Because there's nothing preventing you from just holding back and just blocking the super and the fucking basketball. It's just purely like a panic tactic. People are like, oh no, I'm already parrying the basketball. I have to parry the super. But to be 100% honest, usually when I see that setup, and I've seen it from a lot of different Seans, I just go for the parry, and usually I get it. It's not a hard parry. If Sean's full screen away and he's supering, and you just know that it's a pretty fast super, you just double tap real quick, and it's easy. Almost every Sean I've played has done that. Basketball into forward hard punch, and the fucking shitty ass TC hard punch into forward hard punch. The fireball super is one hit. If you parry it, it's gone. But you can just block it in that setup. You can just go straight from parry to block. You're not locked into parry. But I can see why someone might not know that if they were newer. There's nothing obvious about it. In Street Fighter V, for example, you are locked into most of the game's parries. Like, Ryu can't go from parry to block in SF5. I think Gil can. I think Gil can go straight from his parry into a block. Gil's parry is very much like a third strike parry, except for the fact that it has the whiff animation. But like in terms of like the actual like frames and stuff and the properties, it's very third strikey. Yeah, it's fast though, right? I think it's frame 2 or 3. I remember it's pretty quick. It's kind of funny because they did that to like appeal to third strike players, but there's no third strike player who's nostalgic for Gil. Or like maybe they like his like, you know, the boss fight against him. But like no one played Gil in third strike. Someone kill this man. It's me, I'll kill him. We've been getting a lot of these guys lately. Where are they coming from? Nice. We've punished the dive. Oh, bye. Isn't this like Spelunky 2? I liked Spelunky 1, but I've never beaten it. The deepest I've ever gotten was like floor 14. I didn't play that many times. I probably played like 30 games of Spelunky total. I also have the complete Spelunky, like the original one, like the source code. I have it because it's free. They released it. It was made in Game Maker. I opened it up in Game Maker. And I took a look at it. It was pretty neat. It's informative. It's instructive. I didn't dig that deep though. also never beat Mom in Binding of Isaac, but I have reached her. I've probably done less than 10 Binding of Isaac runs. I had it installed just so like people could come over to my house and like open it on my computer. I haven't thought about someone else using my computer in ages. It's a funny thought. I don't play, but I feel like I would just like take whatever the game gave me and not reset until I like got really, really like deep into the fucking meta or whatever. I feel like the whole point of the game is to just take what the game gives you and try to get it work. Because like if you get the right combo, you just win, right? You can become functionally unkillable with like certain pairs of items or certain trios of items, I think. When I got to Mom, I had still the base attack power. Plump was watching me and he said I got super unlucky. I wonder what the cell phone... Wow, that round. I wonder what cell phone culture is like for like families. What age is like currently the age to get a cell phone? For your kids. With a computer I can... Well, like computers are cheap now, honestly. Like you can get like a fucking shitty ass Walmart laptop for like $150 or something like that. Or like 100. Chromebooks are cheap, aren't they? Isn't there like some laptop-ish thing that's like $100? That's not too much to spend on your kid. That's like a birthday present. It's alright. It's fucking, you know, it's something. That's a good little starter computer, probably. Maybe not anymore. You want to give your kid something you don't care that they fuck it up, you know? I remember going on vacation with my family and my dad had a fucking work laptop and I'd ask him if I could use it. And it didn't have anything fun on it. I think some years I like put an emulator on it and took it off when I was done or whatever. So I was playing like Geek Pokemon. Cool parry. But there was like a fucking word processor and every now and then I'd write shit. That was fun. I used to like doing that when I was like 12. Sometimes I would run fucking basic ass programs, basic ass games. What's some shit that I used to like play? It wouldn't be anything like guns. Ads on the internet have gone out of control. It's like in reply to Adblock getting good. The ads are like, we have to like go crazy on the people that are left. Yeah, I did play Prince of Persia. Are you saying you did? Because I did. Prince of Persia was a game I played. I had the CD for that. I also had the CD for Sonic CD, which ironically is the only Sonic game I owned back then. Even though it was like the one that was the least played of the classic Sonics. Not counting every single one on the Game Gear. The floppy. I own that game. I own the floppy disk Prince of Persia. It's downstairs. I also own the floppy disk Prince of Persia too. I had a disc set of Riven, but the disc set was for some reason, or maybe it was floppy disks. I feel like it was CDs. It was 5 discs. It was either 5 discs or 5 floppies, which is like, why was it that many? And there were certain spots. I mean, like, not anymore. I don't even have a CD drive anymore. I was like, there were like certain spots in the game where like if you moved forward or moved back, you had to like change discs. And it was like in inconvenient spots too. It was like you'd have to do it a couple times in a row. It'd take ages. Riven's a great game, by the way. Yeah, Prince of Persia still has. I'm surprised motherboards still have speakers. Mods with Telnet. I know what that means. I know what those things are. I know about mucking. I kind of want to play Pop now. But my last playthrough was too recent. I should work on my dim game. It's been a little while since I've worked on it. Is that really a punish? God damn. I know that's like minus 14 or whatever, but Christ. Ducking super. The privilege of being top tier. Must be nice. Pop 2 is not bad at all. It's a bit unusual. It really feels like it tried to do something different from Pop 1. The platforming mechanics are all there. In fact, they've been tightened up a little bit. But the actual levels are super unusual, and there's a lot more like kind of abnormal puzzle solving. Pop 3 is a game most people just didn't play, I think. It came out in like the weird years of PC. And also it came out on the Dreamcast, which a lot of people didn't own, and a lot of people didn't own that game even if they owned the Dreamcast. And it never came out on another console. It was Pop 3D on PC, and it was Pop Arabian Nights on Dreamcast, I think. It was very awkward. They like, it's got like a worse like Tomb Raider control scheme. It's like they tried to just purely translate the 2D gameplay into 3D gameplay. So like running up to like fucking ledges and jumping up them and stuff. So it's there, and the sword fighting is there. I think there's a bow too. But I've never beaten Pop 3, and I beat the rest of the series. Sands of Time is fine. In some ways it's the best of the Sands of Time trilogy, and in some ways it's the worst. The platforming is quite good. The combat's definitely the worst of the 3 PS2 games. PS2 era. The combat's really goofy, especially when you kind of know your way around it, because every enemy in the game can be one-shotted by 1 of 2 attacks. So you just look at what the enemy is and you do one of those 2 attacks. And that makes the combat really shitty as well, because it's like, you start to realize just how many enemies there are, and like how tedious it is to kill them. The PS2 ones are an actual masterpiece in my opinion. I think they're all of similar quality to each other, but each one is good at different things. Warrior Within was the one I thought was the worst originally, but it's the best to go back to. Probably because of the non-linear gameplay. And also because of the, well no, yeah, just because of the non-linear gameplay, but the implications of the non-linear gameplay. It also has the most fun with time travel, ironically, of the 3. FFT randomizer. Not really. FFT 1.3 is a game I've thought about playing, but I've never quite done. There are certain things about that that look super cool. That's a ROM hack. But then certain things about it look really cancerous. One of the objectives, the guy who created FFT 1.3, was that he wanted the he didn't want the player to be broken compared to the enemies. So one of the ways he did that was he gave enemies more ways to revive each other, because the player can just endlessly revive, but rarely do enemies have Phoenix Downs or Rays. So in most maps, enemies have Phoenix Downs and Rays in 1.3. And yes, they removed Calculator. Or like they redid it into a different class. The classes are all rebalanced, which is really cool. That's one of the better parts of the game. In FFT Vanilla, there are very obvious power rankings between the classes. Some classes are really good and some are very shitty. And a lot of class skills are basically only good for one very specific thing. And if you're not doing that thing, they suck. Like, when are you going to break fucking weapons and armor as a knight? Maybe in certain boss fights. Just because the enemy's like skill is tied to their weapon. But you'd rather steal it in those boss fights. Break has a higher success rate though. He missed his super cancel. Or like having break on an archer and then you can break from full screen. Never played I've seen the War of the Lions multiplayer fights, but I've never like played them with a human. They're super cool. I wish I could. They all look really hard though. But then there's shit like aim. Remember aim? What were they thinking with Archer? Remember aim +1? It was called charge, I think, in the PS1 version. It was called aim in War of the Lions. Archer, well, bows were good. But the only people who could equip bows were archers. That's why it's funny, there were like 2 super rare bows in Midlight's Deep. The dungeon, deep dungeon. And it's like, who even has an archer by this point? I used an archer to get Thief unlocked, and then I ditched it, and I basically never put it back on. But the bow is a good weapon. I used AOL Instant Messenger from basically almost when it came out to right when it died. And I used it a lot. I probably sent more AOL Instant Messages than everyone in this chat combined. I was a chatty motherfucker. I had everyone. Remember Smarter Child? He was the buddy you could add on AOL who was like an AI. It was back before that kind of thing was really popular. Nice red. We had a Windows 95, but it was extremely shitty, and it like didn't fucking do anything. It was slow as hell. And then we had a Windows 98 that was like Pentium 3, and it was like okay. And then we got an ME, and that one I had free access to. So that's really when I started using the internet. And I forget when the ME came out, probably around 2000. Going by the name. I remember watching primitive Flash videos on it. People just fucking stick figures killing each other and whatnot. XP was like magic. Going from ME to XP was like magic. Xiao Xiao 3. That was the really good one. I think they got to 9 and they just abruptly stopped, and the one they stopped on was like a to be continued. All of them were good. Except the ones where you had to play them. Those ones were really bullshit. I remember there was one where they were like presses, you had to like flatten a guy, and it took like a million. He was like impossible to hit. A-cho SF3 is one of the fucking greatest videos on all of the internet. I remember getting into like a fight with my dad because he wanted me to bring something upstairs for him, and I like put it at the foot of the stairs because I had a YouTube video, or not YouTube, I had like a Flash video was loading, and it had been loading for like 20 minutes, and it finally finished, and it started auto playing because it didn't have like a start button, and then right then he called me to like bring something to the top of the stairs, and I just put it at the bottom. He's like, bring it to me, and I was like, I gotta watch something. He's like, bring it to me. I said no, and he like came down and got it, and then like yelled at me. I think it was that Star Wars stick figure video that was like, I think it was by the guys who went on to do Cyanide Happiness. They did like a Star Wars parody video for like Attack of the Clones or something. I could watch that now and it would be nostalgic as hell. I remember some of the gags. One of them was Anakin farting, and then Obi-Wan saying, "I sense a disturbance in the Force." And then Anakin apologizing and Obi-Wan being like, "No, not that." One of them was them catching a Sith guy, and it's like, let's reveal him, and they pull off his mask and it's Jar Jar Binks, and then they behead him. It was like the most phoned in, like tired jokes imaginable, but at the time they were new. Whoa. That video must be on the internet. Remember the Star Wars gangster rap? It's not the east or the west side. It's not the north or the south side. It's the dark side. To all you Vader haters out there, we're gonna blow your planet up. What is thy bidding, my master? It's a disaster. Skywalker we're after. But if he can be turned to the dark side, he'd be a powerful ally. Another dark Jedi. He will join us or die. I still remember it. Still remember the whole thing. I struggled to remember shit on exams, but I still remember the Star Wars gangster rap. Whoa, that was a super. That's funny. I remember a lot of kids like that. A lot of people hated rap. A lot of people still hate rap. I think if you hear like a bad rap, it sounds like a fucking shitty genre in general. It's like, oh, you're just talking to a beat. I remember hearing people say that. I'm sure I said that at some point. Double Senpo's like not really a thing you do in this game. Arfin House and Arfin House 2. I remember that shit. Hold on, let me think of an Arfin House quote. They may kick our ass, but they'll never kick our freedom. That's one of them. All we do in hell is play DDR, is the quote. I think it's just bad rap. I'm trying to think of... Oh, the back throw. What was the first rap song I remember liking? There were a lot of songs where I kind of liked them, but I didn't know that they were rap. Or I didn't realize they were rap, even though they were obviously rap. It never occurred to me. It's like, wow, this song is really cool, and it was rap. I mean, I remember listening to fucking I Like Big Butts. Baby Got Back, name of that song. And I thought that shit was funny as hell. Rap works better for funny songs. You got more punch. I remember it was like an Albino Black Sheep video where it had a Dead Man playing, and that song is fucking cool. It was called Dead Man Waiting to Happen. I think the song itself was called Dead Man. It's like a super sick song, honestly. I like everything except rap and country, as long as it's being played at a reasonable volume. That's everyone. That's what everyone says. I always think it's funny when people make fun of that shit too. I used to think country was a meme, but I've listened to country at my work a lot, and I think it's kind of good. I like rap. It really just depends on what you hear. Everyone like, there's a lot of good country songs where like people like just don't really interpret them as country songs. Everyone's like, oh, country, that's like when you like, you know. Fucking, oh, the video ended. It's fucking pro-America, whatever. I couldn't think of the actual song I wanted. I can only think of the parodies, like Freedom Isn't Free. What's the one that came out like right in the wake of the fucking Twin Towers? There's just so much Third Strike to go through. I worked retail and continue to work retail. And last Christmas, well, every Christmas up until last Christmas was from November onward non-stop Christmas music. Like every song was a Christmas song. And it was horrible. And someone finally got the memo 20 years into the year 2000, 19 years into the year 2000, because last year it was like 4 just like generic fucking rock songs, pop songs, and then 1 Christmas song, and it looped like that. And it made it feel like Christmas without drilling it into your fucking brain that it was Christmas. Nice. This is over, I think. We're selling Christmas stuff already, but we don't have Christmas music yet. We put it up about a week ago.
Are you ready? Go.
We're already selling out of Halloween stuff. I made a tweet about that earlier. Kind of wild to me. What are you doing? Those were 2 failed spinning birds. That's not a move you do on purpose. It is kind of good in this matchup. I think it's often safe against Dudley, and he can't crouch out unlike most characters, because Dudley, even though he's a relatively ordinary size, has quite a tall crouch. He's also extremely wide. He's one of the widest characters. I think Makoto's number 1, but Dudley's probably like number 2 or 3. Necro and Hugo are also extremely wide. This year I'm gonna buy Halloween candy, and I'm hoping that no kid is gonna come to my door so I can just eat it all myself. I get the good shit because I know there's gonna be leftovers for me. You're not gonna come to my house and get mounds. You're gonna come to my house and get mini Reese's peanut butter cups. Cool link combo. This reminds me of that Pyroly combo. There's a famous video of Pyroly getting supered in the corner, and he parries. I don't remember how many hits he parries. I don't remember if he parries like 8 or 16 or 17. But then after he gets the full Chun-Li parry, and then he does stay medium kick dash, and then just only stay medium kicks to close it out. OMAD. I didn't know that's what that stood for. I've never had anyone explain OMAD to me. So it's like fasting a little bit. What's that called? When you go long periods without eating and then eat. It's something fasting. But I can't remember the name of it. It's not chronic fasting. Intermittent. That's it. It's like that. I've been losing weight recently. Feels good. I've been a fat fuck. I gained about 5 pounds since COVID started. And now I've lost that 5 pounds. So now I'm back to where I was. But I kind of want to keep losing weight because, like, I'm going to eventually see my friends again. And I want them to be like, damn, you lost weight. No, I've never forgotten to eat for a few days. It's rare I skip dinner. I have like about the same schedule every day for that kind of stuff. Nice, you got a hit in. He had a confirm into dash punch, but he went shoulder. They got parried, so he built beer. Excuse me. Oh, that was probably not a punish, but it might have been. That was definitely not a good dash punch, though. Dash punch doesn't knock down in trigger. In trigger. In Gene. I admit that it's, like, I don't feel hungry often. I feel like it's good to eat when you're hungry. I feel like it's the normal state. That's the human condition. If you eat when you're hungry, you'll probably be a lot healthier. I think a lot of people don't do that. I think a lot of people are not don't have a good idea of what hungry actually feels like. I think a lot of people are like, I could really go for something, and they interpret that as hunger. Suddenly picture a fucking bag of Skittles. I'm hungry. Not the same thing. But also, I feel like people probably feel hunger and eating differently. So maybe I'm speaking for people who I shouldn't be. I definitely eat when I'm bored. I've seen videos of fat people eating fucking broccoli and like crying. And I'm just like, give me that broccoli. The fuck is wrong with broccoli? If you don't like broccoli, get the fuck out of my face. Cauliflower? Some good shit. I can count the vegetables I don't like on one hand. I like kale a lot. I like spinach a lot. Spinach is a good one. My favorite's corn. Celery's great. Love celery. Love cabbage. Lettuce is alright. Nice. That all comboed. What are some other goat veggies? The thing is, so frustrating about me is I'm a very non-picky eater. So like if I wanted to eat only healthy food, I wouldn't even suffer for it. But I don't anyway. I'm like very happy with a relatively healthy meal. Parsnips. Those are good. Squash. Everything in the squash family is fucking incredible. Zucchini are so good. Butternut, so good. Maybe yams are actually my favorite veggie. You can get yams in water, or you can get them in syrup when you buy them canned, and my supermarkets don't sell them in water, they sell them in syrup only. I just want yams without the fucking commitment of syrup. I don't want no candied yams. Potatoes are great. I haven't bought potatoes in a bit. I love them. Nice. I've had spaghetti squash. I actually have a spiralizer. I've also done zucchini spaghetti, which are usually called zoodles. Also very good. In fact, it's like maybe better than spaghetti, and it's also a lot healthier. A zucchini does not have that many calories. It's a different mouthfeel and a different taste, but it's not really worse unless you really like spaghetti and you want spaghetti specifically. I don't know if it scratches the spaghetti itch, but it's itself something very interesting. Is maple syrup a vegetable? Yes. And you can still put like fucking all your pasta sauces on your zoodles, and it still works. You can cover that shit in Alfredo if you want. Or vodka sauce. Did you ever end up making the milk sauce or whatever? The garlic sauce? No, you didn't have garlic, right? The fucking butter sauce. For your noodles. That was you doing that, right? Cool. I had a Dudley doing that to me last time I was playing online. I don't think I got the full parry once, but I don't think he went for the full TC once.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
I was saying put butter in it. What the fuck is the butter gonna do if you don't heat it?
You win.
It would actually probably be a good idea to brown the butter for something like that.
Go.
God, I made a meal where I browned butter recently, and it's annoying. Butter sits on the stove for like fucking 2 minutes without doing anything. And then it browns, and then it fucking burns. And that takes about 5 seconds. I literally looked away and looked back, and it was fucking beginning to burn. I was like, no.
Are you ready? Go.
I made chicken gnocchi. I don't remember why I put a picture of it on Twitter. It was a super basic meal. I just cooked some gnocchi separately, and then I cooked some chicken, and then I cut some spinach, and I added corn. I had like a can of corn. So it was corn, spinach, chicken, and gnocchi. And then brown butter, and then a little salt and pepper, and Parmesan. All of those things work well together. It ended up being super good, and I made 2 meals out of it. You've been here since the start almost. I can't stay up forever. Probably got at least this video left in me. I'm not even tired. I just should be like sleeping sooner. I like cooking my own food a lot. My local stores don't sell pink sauce. Can I complain about that? I could just mix it myself, but it's so annoying. I might have complained about this last time I streamed. Pink sauce is literally just when you mix tomato sauce and Alfredo. That's like what they call it. It's got another name too, but pink sauce is the more typical name. Pink sauce is truly the master race. There's no reason you can't use both of those together. But there's none of the stores near me sell pre-mixed pink sauce. So I would need to buy 2 different pasta sauces and mix them myself. And considering pasta sauces are like only good for like a week or 2 after you open them. I'd have to eat a lot of pasta. I'd have to have like 4 meals of pasta in 2 weeks to justify that. And 4 would be the bare minimum. There used to be an Italian place near me in college. It wasn't like pasta or pizza, actually. They did like skillets, but it was Italian food nonetheless. And they had both of those. They had Alfredo and tomato sauce, and I always asked for both. And then they cooked up sausage in it, and a few other veggies. Other veggies, sausage and a few veggies. It was really nice. They were always super good meals, and they served it with lettuce, and it was like the hot little skillet, and then cold lettuce, and a breadstick. But those fucking, I'll always remember those sausages in the pink sauce were super fucking good. These breadsticks were very plain. The lettuce either came in ranch or without. Or it wasn't ranch, it was Caesar, I think. But it was like a barely wet. I like dipping my breadsticks in the sauce of my fucking veggies though. That shit was good. Miss that place. Oh my god, this is how you play Dudley? Is everyone house ducking? It's a confirm in and of itself. Every stand round ducking can become a ducking super. The Dudleys here are really good. It's quality Dudley. It's the best Dudley I've seen in ages. Both of these guys. I've only been paying half attention to the matches though. I've been thinking about tasty food. Chilling with the chat. Nice. Is that really a whiff punish? What the fuck was that? Did he want ducking? That was a weird short swing blow. Oh, he had a super there. Why didn't he? I have no idea what that is on block. I'm sure I would know what Aura would do if I blocked it myself, yet I can't, like, picture what I would do. Stand medium kick? Don't look at me. That combo is more typically seen with SA1 Necro. Because SA3 Necro loses a lot of damage on the super. But even if you don't do the super juggle, still a good little combo. Oh, empty jump low. That's my fucking that's my SF5 route. Crystal Cube 99. Yeah, me and him are friends. Oof. I had a few videos where I uploaded me doing all of the trials for his combo trial thing. I followed his 200 damage series. Seen a lot of the weird little videos about oddities in the game.
Prepare to strike. Now.
What else? The Crush the Car minigame. He like speedran all of them. That was cool. Like a safe jump setup almost there. Pink Dudley was probably afraid of empty jump low short, so he just focused on blocking correctly. Very sexy. This can't kill, I don't think. No, it did. No, it didn't. I was right. The first time. Makoto. How good did she end up doing? I don't even remember. I seem to recall she was really high. I think Chun-Li had a really high one as well. Ryu's was one of the best, because Ryu's Tatsu is not intended to hit 3 times. It's intended to hit once. So it does like a ridiculous amount of damage when it hits 3 times. So Ryu ended up being one of the best characters for the Destroy the Car minigame. I think 12 did alright too, despite his miserable damage, because the axe isn't intended to get every hit either. I don't remember who really blew. I think Sean did okay. I bet Q was one of the lousy ones. I don't remember. We should watch that entire series. I wouldn't want to put up a video of me watching all of his YouTube videos on my YouTube. Oh, some EX move. Who knows which one? Necro doesn't have that many EX moves. You can't EX electricity and you can't EX have circle forward. Kick. Chun-Li, Makoto, Gil. Impressive. Probably Chun-Li's lightning legs. Seem to recall that was it. It's not intended to hit the way it was. Cool combo. RO was mostly stuff I was expecting, but it had kind of a fancy way of getting to the other side of the car. Yang was last. Read me like the bottom 5 if you can. I'd appreciate that. I can't see Hugo being that fast even though his damage output is so high. What's he do? Just EX clap over and over? I don't remember. Nice. Yo, what's up? What is this emote? Looks like oh, it's the fucking it's the hyena. Alright, is this all of them? And then this is porn. Hold up, let me look at it. Hugo was second last. I guessed that one. And then Q was also extremely shitty. And Remy. I would have got, I wouldn't have guessed Urian being that low. But the rest of the bottom 5 would literally be my guesses. Yun being that low is weird too. Yeah, Ryu got, it was because Ryu's Tatsus were hitting like 3 times or 4 times. Just click on the link. Oh, you're the one. Anyone who wants to see it can just click on the link. I'm not trying to show fucking the YouTube archive. Those guys are clowns anyway. Leave me a comment telling me what a clown I actually am. Ooh, we punished the electricity. Yeah, I was gonna. That's what I said. 12 was just all axe, heavy and EX axe. A lot of supers don't work on the car. Like, I don't think 12 can do his SA2. Maybe he can. Ryu's SA2 doesn't work. Or like it just gets the on block version, I think. But it still does like on hit damage. Or his boogers are mostly for position and not for damage, so they're like worthless against the car. The sun is pretty good. Stones are great. Or his grab super doesn't work on the car. I seem to recall Sean had a lot of just hard kick into like Tatsu over and over. Or something like that. And it was quite strong. Sean's hard kick is pretty fast and also incredibly powerful. That's like one thing about Sean that you might not guess is his stand hard kick does a lot of fucking damage. You don't really have any enders for it though. You can go into SA1. In fact, I think you can go on to all three of his supers from it. But you can't go into uppercut and you can't go into heavy spin kick. So the best enders end up being like medium spin kick or EX spin kick. And then like none of your other special moves even working cancels. Because Sean's dumb and his special moves don't hit. So even though stand hard kick should be like a super good cancel, Sean's special moves are just so garbage. But like Sean's stand hard kick is like a normal that other Shotos actually want. Close hard kick. I love that double back fierce into dash for the re-corner. One of my favorite Necro combos. Ooh, not even a trade. I thought I was going to trade. He got a weak ass connect there, but it did give him a hard knockdown for his Oki. Nice. He went for the fancy juggle and dropped it. That was an uppercut from Dudley. I think he's trying to do super, but he didn't have time to do the whole motion. Necro tried to do dash half circle forward hard punch, I bet. But I ended up getting dash hard punch. Looked hella stupid. Oh. Slugged. That's like one of those rounds where if you're fucking... It's like, oh, I picked the wrong character. I picked the wrong super. And then that's what happens. Your friend just slugs you in the face over and over. Oh no. Ah, he could have cut out sooner if he wanted to. He could have done like ducking up or super for any of those. You get as many as you want versus Necro. You can do up to 6. You would never do 6 because there's no point in doing the 6 one. You can swap the 6 one for a ducking upper and it does more damage. And I think it's better Oki. Super taunt on Dan. It'll be nothing. Or it might be something. He's 100% gonna have a super that's not that one. That's exactly how they did it in SF4. The only way I can see that being his only super is if he has either Godlike EX, or if you can attack during that super and he just does the taunt if you don't attack. This is probably not Kokujin, but the truth is I have no idea who this is. He went for reds in like a weird spot. Normally you go for the final hit red. Or you don't do it at all. I mean, there's only 7 colors, so like, you know, anyone can pick that color. Especially in the mirror where someone could easily be using a color that's not their main. But this is like the most popular Dudley color anyway. I think Fujimura, the second most prolific Dudley for a super long time, also used this color. There's also no time spent picking colors in this game. Like, you might not want to bother scrolling to the right in like fucking modern fighting games, you know? If you're playing Street Fighter 4 and you're playing on stream, it's like you probably would just like pick the character and go in. In this game, it's literally just like the pushing it takes the exact same length to choose every color. How about the fucking Wario Dudley from Street Fighter 4? The secret colors work on Fightcade, yes. Secret color. There's also second impact colors, which unfortunately do not work. They were in the console versions of this game. Nice. He's just like parry this. That was like a no respect play, but like most people would not be ready for that. It's jab forward fierce, yeah. All at the same time. Hold on, I'm texting. All my friends are starting to wake up. Alright, I'm done texting. The Necro's back. Or maybe he never left. Maybe he's always been here with us. I remember even when SO4 was new, some people complained about the sizes of their hands and feet. A very common complaint. It's that the characters don't quite look human. Shoutouts to Cross Tekken, where it had the Street Fighter 4 aesthetic, but also made everything neon. And also made all the bars shake. It's amazing how Cross Tekken managed to make every little thing kind of shitty. Like, there was no thing about the game that didn't attract complaints. There was nothing that was super duper broken. The closest thing to super duper broken was the damage output and scaling and time overs and whatnot. That whole collective issue. Oh yeah, the gems. The gems were the hot button topic. Time movers and gems. Those were the ways the game was actually broken. I see these things were broken, but they weren't like game ruining. On this DLC is unfortunately the most efficient way to do it. Some gems were and are still banned. There was a gem that was, I think, outright removed, where it would automatically tech throws for you at the cost of 1 meter. So if you got thrown while you had this gem, you lost a bar, but you didn't tech the throw. So their idea with it was for someone who wasn't very good at teching throws yet. So like they'd lose the meter and that would suck. And it'd be like, oh no, I lost the meter. If I tech my throws better, I would be better at. I would still have the meter. But what people actually did with it was they just used it and they never ever tech throws, because being able to spend a bar to get out of like a frame trap throw mix-up is actually super powerful. Also, throws were really shitty, so like you could just avoid throws in general just by like people not doing them. Those were 7 frames at the release. For comparison, they were 3 frames in SF4 and they're 5 frames in SF5. It's quite hard to throw someone with a 7 frame throw. So throw the speed of a heavy. They're 1 frame in most games which have 1 button throws. I didn't stun. There were so many little things that were stupid. One of my favorites was the pre-combos, the auto combos. So if you like weren't very good at the game, you could just do light punch plus hard kick, or light kick plus hard punch. And oh yeah, the Kazuya Infinite that Kuro also had. Um, and it would do an auto combo, and you could like set which auto combo it would do, and it would cost meter. It would cost 1 bar to do a meterless combo, and like 2 bars to do like an EX combo or something like that. It would cost like 1 more meter than the combo should have cost, but it would hit the combo with 100% reliability. And some of them were kind of good because like it would have like 2 or 3 1-frame links, but the auto combo, you just spend a bar and the combo would always hit. Like one of them was a Vegas combo from an overhead, which literally required 2 1-frame links into a standing cancel into his Scarlet Terror. It was like, or like 3 1-frame links into that. It was like very hard. Plus frame jabs in general. Every jab with fucking like +4 on block in that game, and it was hella stupid. Sakura could literally. Sakura is one of the DLC characters, and she could do like, she had like a fucking +5 on block jab. And the DLC characters mostly didn't have the problems of the basic cast. But you couldn't turn off the auto combos, so like every character had like light kick plus hard punch or whatever, or hard light punch plus hard kick as a command for an auto combo. And Akuma's super input was Demon. It was light punch, forward light kick, hard punch. And because hitting light kick and hard punch on the same frame resulted in the auto combo, which had priority over the Demon, it was very easy to get an auto combo on accident. And if you have Demon, you have meter, so like, you know, it would do the auto combo, which you didn't necessarily want, and deduct meter. The only way to not get the auto combo was to not have meter, and if you were trying for a super, you obviously had it. So you had to hit your light kick and hard punch in sequence. Eventually they allowed you to, you still have to have 1 auto combo on, but it's the jab plus roundhouse 1. You can turn off the short fierce one. Auto combos are like always a mistake. They miss the point of like how to fix combos in fighting games. Remember KO 14 and its like light, jab, jab, jab combos? Ironically, some characters actually use those. I think Choi does. It's like, well, this is the best way I can throw together a combo, so. Um, what are some other hilarious things? You had complete customizable colors, so you could make a Ken that looked disturbingly like Ryu, which was pretty funny. Damn the sub. Um, you could make characters extremely like ridiculous, like hard to look at, which actually like genuinely hard to look at. Some of the bright neon colors like actually kind of hurt your eyes to look at. BB tag auto combos seem good. Honestly, KOF 14 auto combos seem pretty inoffensive. The only thing that's kind of annoying about them is how like easy they'd theoretically be on accident to get. But no character really does a jab jab route. But it feels like they built the whole game around that. They had to remove a bunch of the custom colors because people complained about them so much. Most of the gems, the gem that I just described that was really stupid, that auto tech throws, that wasn't even in at launch. The input help gems came later. They like added gems as DLC, which also was like stupid because you had to pay for that gem. Like, you had to pay real money for a gem that was busted, which everyone was like, "Wow, Capcom. We didn't even want this as a mechanic, but you add a gem that you have to pay a fucking dollar for." And the people who pay for it are, yeah, are super powerful. And yeah, and it broke the game. So they had to remove it, and people paid real money for it. So that was pretty stupid. I don't know if they were refunded. God, I love talking about Cross Tekken's launch. The online was pretty good. It was actually very similar to the SF4 online. If anything, it was probably a little bit better. The downside was that it had sound desyncs, which, in addition to being really annoying, also resulted in people thinking it was worse than it was because, like, it would sound choppy, but it still played okay. I think it was better than Street Fighter 4 at the time in online, but I think Ultra redid Street Fighter 4's online a little bit. I don't remember. It's been too long. I think they eventually patched the online for Cross Tekken and fixed the sound issues. I think they did that while the game was still being played. It is, yeah, it has a million good ideas. Cross Tekken got updated by a patch called the 2013 patch. And almost every issue that people had with the game had been fixed by that point, including a lot of the core stuff of the way the characters played. A lot of juggles became a lot more sensible. Like, the damage weighting across the juggle would be a lot better. A lot of juggles had, like, no ender, and now combos end at sensible places. I remember pre-patch Lei. Good lord, look at this. Pre-patch Lei doing fucking 6 quarter circle forward punches or whatever, and bouncing the opponent off the wall 6 times. That looked hella stupid. Nina had combos that like were super weird to end. That was like a really good example. Oh, you could get like Raven could do like a whole bunch of crouch fierce, charge, dash attack cancels. And if he did too many, he didn't have a special move to go into as an ender. Like, most combos as of 2013 end in a special move. Like you could juggle like before, like, not the character might not have a special move with enough juggle potential to juggle after you used up all your normal juggle potential. Like, lights in Cross Tekken have like 2 JP, and then like mediums have 3 and heavies have 4, I think, something like that. And if you got to 5 JP, and you couldn't land heavies anymore, like, some characters that had nothing that they could do. Kuma was Deli's standing there. If you hit that roundhouse sooner, it probably would have worked. Kuma was played by Seth Lolol. That was his name. Seth LOLOL, all one word. And he was one of the best Cross Tekken players back when it was still being played. I think he came in like second during the fucking 25th anniversary tournament or something like that. Raven was super fun. Raven was the character I made when the game came out. He was very interesting. They took a lot of liberties for him compared to the other Tekken characters. He feels like a true Street Fighter and not like a Tekken character. Like, for example, he had a fireball and he had a teleport and shit like that. Not only did he play, he was like one of the best. His team was Kuma and oh fuck. Hold on. It was I think it was like a top tier in Kuma, but I don't remember who the fuck it was. Oh, maybe it was Swine Kuma? I don't remember. It's been way too long. He had a neat team though. Kuma was fine. There is nothing to Kuma as a character. Heihachi owns a bear, Kuma is that bear. I remember all the meme teams people talked about before the game came out. They were all excited. It's like, I want to run Rufus and Bob on the same team. Can't wait to run Kuma and Zangief so I can play as Zangief and a bear. I remember there was a lot of discussion that was like, I can't wait to play Zangief Guile for the ultimate offense and the ultimate defense. It's like if I'm next to them, I switch to Zangief. If I'm far away, I switch to Guile. That ended up being Knuckledoo's team. It's a pretty funny team. It doesn't work for like the reasons I just listed. It's not like it's a bad team, but you can't just like be far away, be Guile, be close, be Geef. Tagging is a bit more nuanced when you're not landing a combo, when you're not actively landing a combo. That can link. He was way late. It's like he wasn't expecting it to work. The Tekken side was pretty interesting. I didn't like the stuttering of the game though. There was a lot of linking. Like they took the linking stuff from Street Fighter 4 and like doubled down. So 1-frame links were all over the place and like 2-frame links as well. But I think you typically have more of them in a combo. I don't know how the balance is in Cross Tekken these days. I remember Vega being quite strong. I remember Hwoarang being like a top tier. Do I speak Japanese? Hold on, I can think of a fancy reply. Amari dekinai. Amari hanasenai. Hanaseru. No. Yeah. Our biggest jab is 1-frame in that game. No. Yes. Yes. I think they are. I don't remember. Most links got opened up a little bit when they came to jab links. Yeah, boost combos are what those were called. They were like a tag combo, but they were free. But you had to go through normals, and you couldn't do special cancels unless you spent a meter. It was like, the trick was, it made, you could empty cancel from long range pokes. Boost combos had really bad frame data on block, but also it wasn't universal. So like, not every character, you wouldn't know which like stand forward, stand roundhouses were unsafe, and which ones you could punish, because you wouldn't know the fucking frame data on block. You'd have to try every character's boost combos. It's like, because every single normal, it's like, well, this stand roundhouse is normally this, but on a boost combo it's this. Normally it's -2, but in this scenario it's -7. And they pushed out a lot too, so it's like getting the punish was tricky for that reason as well. It's super hard to know the frame data in Cross Tekken because everything has 2 frame datas. Um, but like just characters with long range limbs could get boost combos from really far out. Like Guile could get low forward into far roundhouse as a boost combo. They really shouldn't have worked with like far normals probably, but it's cool that they did. Is an interesting mechanic. But characters with long limbs definitely benefited from a lot, notably Chun-Li. There you go. You had to know your routes to do the max range ones, which was kind of neat. Like usually it'd only work with like one heavy button, like one long range medium to one specific long range heavy, and then you do the launch. But Vega could do like low strong like Sterenos, I think, for example. Those combos would force you to tag, but usually if you were forced to tag, you could just do like a single, like a 1 or 2 hits and then just do a raw launcher and that would juggle. Like raw launchers had a little bit of juggle potential. And then there would be no juggle available. You'd tag again, and then there would be no juggle available, but you know, you'd be back in the initial character. So that was good if you didn't want to, if your character who was forced to come in had like low HP. And you were still trying to get that health back. In the original version of the game, happy birthdays were pretty rare, and there was no way to remove red health from characters, which was like the recoverable health. And people were bad at optimizing their combos, especially because scaling is super high in Cross Tekken because you can put together long combos, but it's got the same restrictive scaling system that Street Fighter 4 does. But like there was less balance around it. What else? People weren't very good at punishing tagging. The throw mix-up wasn't very strong. There were like a multitude of reasons that damage output was really slow. And because of that, people were getting their health back way faster than they were losing it. So like it was very common to, it was rare to see someone like lose a character. I mean that still happened. People lost a character while the other character had basically full health. But like matches usually were super duper slow. Also a lot of combos were optimized towards wasting time. The timer wasn't so fast. It was just that people were like the timer was like, I feel like the timer wasn't a ridiculous speed compared to SF4. There was more health to remove compared to SF4. But it was just making a lot of people suggested the timer should be slowed down because there were too many time overs. But I feel like, and I think this is the decision Capcom came to as well, is that it solved the wrong issue. The real problem was that games were just stally. They had a set idea for how long they wanted a round to go, but people were taking way longer to do that. The damage output was way too low. And it wasn't the actual damage people were doing that was too low, because even the original release of the game had like higher damage than SF4. Although again, you have 2 characters to kill. Part of it was gems. People were turning off gems, so like damage output was adjusted for gem use. But a big part of it was just the flow of the game was like not. You only had to kill one, but people would like do tags to like make sure that their characters died in sequence. They would like get one character low health and fucking tag, you know. You could also combine your character's health by doing a cross assault. That's like a common strategy these days, but not so common back then. Now you can, if you land a throw, it removes all recoverable health from a character, which makes throws very, very rewarding in Cross Tekken. I don't know about the balance. It seemed to be a little bit unbalanced. It was better balanced than vanilla SF4. Play that. Not counting a few infinites that were in the game at launch. Remember 5 characters being version exclusive? That was in the period where people were still playing on Xbox 360. I had a PlayStation, so I didn't really care. But I remember the PS3 version of the cross second was noticeably better than the Xbox version. I remember Cole being a pretty neat character, but he had really low HP. It was like fucking 800 or 750 or something. Anyway, most people were like pissed that they had to buy a PS3 for events or shit like that. Most people own the 360 version because it was like people who play fighting games play on 360. Um, and there were 5 characters on the PlayStation side that were there was no equivalent on the PS3 side. I mean, fuck, on the Xbox 360 side. There were 5. It was just like, hey, these 5 characters are all exclusive. I can see that. A lot of the Tekken characters are really cool and good. When I see the game nowadays, I often see Nina. Oh, is that a Cross Tekken video from the time? I do still see Hwoarang a lot. Hwoarang has like a move that's like an overhead hit that hits on the back, I think. Oh, I definitely see a shit ton of Law. Law's been a lot. He's been played a lot since the very beginning of the game. He has a move that like leads to a nice combo on hit that's also safe on block, and it does decent chip. So people just like spam cancels into that move. And that's like 80% of what Law is. He's a fairly straightforward character. Like apart from that, he doesn't have like a super solid mix. He's mostly about being safe. He does have an overhead and he can link out of it, but it's a hard link. Oh, it's the joke vid. I do want to watch this. Maybe after this one. This one's just starting and I don't even know if I want to watch all of it.